Goal is not to learn how to get fit by locking yourself in a house and never being exposed to any social event. You have to be exposed to those things while you're learning to get fit so that you learn the right lessons. Best and coolest upgrade that we've ever done in the past 5.5 years of us helping people transform their lives. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you don't stick to it, nothing is going to change. You will impact people in a positive way if you get healthier. And the people that you love the most are the ones that will probably be the most critical at first, but are going to be the ones that are going to pay the most attention. A little interruption before we get into today's episode. So I run these shows ad-free. We will never take on sponsors because everything is self-funded through our Fit Vegan coaching program. So if you enjoy this show, the best way to support is obviously to subscribe to the channel. But also, if you know anyone over the age of 50 that is looking to improve their body composition, combat sarcopenia, combat osteoporosis, and simply want to get healthier on a whole food plant-based lifestyle, simply send them our way over at fitvegancoaching.com. We're the best in the world in helping people over 50 transform with over 1,100 transformations from 20 different countries. In addition to that, a percentage of our profit monthly goes towards supporting cancer patients with their treatments, bills, and whatever they may need to support themselves and their family. So you're also supporting additional people outside of the work that we do in the program. That's all I have for you today. Enjoy the episode. All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Maxime Sigouin podcast. I almost said the old intro. Now, I'm happy to be recording today because it's been a while since I've done a solo episode. And so I had a lot of fun updates for you guys. And one of them is a big announcement in how we are changing how we're delivering our coaching program. I think it is one of the best and coolest upgrade that we've ever done in the past 5.5 years of us helping people transform their lives in the 1,100 plus transformation we've done so far. But again, if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably noticing I have a really cool background behind me right now. Currently in Breckenridge, Colorado. Ivy and I came up here for our digital detox, but also to celebrate our 4-year anniversary. So we came up here to celebrate, went to Aspen for a day, went to visit Vail for a day, just trying to enjoy the fresh air of the mountain and get used to the altitude. Because for some reason, I never realized that I have never been at this high of an altitude for that long of a period of time, but it is kicking my butt in the gym. So Ivy and I went to go do a few workouts at the recreation center they have here because they have a basketball court. And oh my God, doing a few leg presses, I'm completely out of breath. My lungs are burning. It is a very different ball game to train at this high of an altitude. And I can see why people would come up here to train and then go back down to Los Angeles for some competitions, for example. So we're here for 2 weeks, but by the time this episode goes live, we'll be back in Los Angeles at that time. But I'm very excited to be back with my body, hopefully being accustomed to the higher altitude in the training. That way when I get back on the basketball court, I'll be kicking some butts and have a little bit better cardio than I currently have while I'm here. So today's episode, again, just, literally coming off of my beginning of October digital detox. I have a few things that I want to share with you guys. But first is a big announcement, like I mentioned, probably the biggest upgrade we've ever done to our coaching program, which is when people came into our program originally, they would get assigned a Fit Vegan coach. They get assigned a coach to them that would be handling their nutrition, their training, and their accountability. And then there's this new model that I wanted to do about 3 years ago, but we just didn't have the right team in order to be able to do that. And we weren't ready for that. And now that we're, going to be rebranding the company, which I've mentioned in the podcast where I changed the name of the podcast, basically. We're going to be rebranding the company at the end of the year. There's a lot of beautiful changes coming up. I want to level up what we are offering to our members and to our future clients. And one of those things is the method of deliverability of the service. So now, instead of coming in and getting assigned one coach that will be responsible for everything for our members' transformation, when you come in now, you will get a team of health expert working on you. Meaning when you come in, you will get assigned a nutritionist that will be responsible for handling your nutrition and your nutrition alone. You will get assigned a trainer, a personal trainer that will be responsible for creating your workout program, the best one to get you to your goals and to whatever fitness, challenge or that you're trying to get to. You'll also be assigned an accountability coach, which that coach, their sole purpose will be to hold you accountable. So that can look like, texting you 3 or 4 times a week, jumping on a call every week, jumping on a call every 2 weeks or every month, whatever is needed for you. And in addition to that, depending on how long you're working with us, because we have different packages depending how much support you want for your transformation, You will also have access to our concierge executive, which will be there to assist you in your day-to-day journey. Meaning, if you are traveling in a different state or in a different country and you need help looking for certain vegan restaurants or plant-based restaurants that align with our way of eating that are for the purpose of improving your body composition, you'll be able to text that number, and our concierge executive will be able to guide you at what restaurants will be best. She'll also be able to help you book some of those reservations for those restaurants. If you're looking for a meal prep company while you're traveling and you need some food delivered to, your hotel or your Airbnb, that person will also be able to support you on that. And that will only be available on our packages that are a 12, 18, or 24 months. But it's be a beautiful service that I know that some of our members that have already upgraded to this new model have greatly appreciated. So just something extra to elevate the experience and provide more support and more accountability to our members' transformation. So with the nutritionist, they're going to have that onboarding call with the nutritionist. They're going to have that monthly call with them to tailor the nutrition to their specific needs and goals. Same thing with their trainer. They're going to have the onboarding call with their trainer, and then you have their trainer that's going to be building their workout program to their environment, to the goals, to the things that they want to accomplish. And if you're the accountability coach, that's us really stepping it up, because we fundamentally understand, and we've known this for a very long time, that you can have the best plan in the world, but if you don't stick to it, nothing is going to change. And so we know that our nutritionist, Coach Sarah, will be able to create a killer meal plan and guide you on nutrition, on helping you improve your relationship with food. We know that Coach Nick and Coach Cass will be able to create you amazing workout programs that are tailored to meet you where you're at, to get you where you want to. We know that if those plans are created and you stick to them, you'll get incredible results. But that tends to be most people's challenges, which is why I decided to bring on an additional team member to be solely dedicated to accountability. And again, the reason being is because if you're able to do the plan and to stick to the plan, that's when you'll get the best results possible. So some people, like me, need a call every month, right? I don't need more accountability than that. Just tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. Some people need a call every 2 weeks. They need to know that someone is checking in on them. Some people need a little bit more hand-holding, need a bit more support because they're potentially a little bit early on in their journey, and they might need a call every single week to check in on them. They might need to be able to text someone if they have any questions or challenges. So that's why we're going to be able to provide a dedicated person to accountability. And I am very excited for this new model because I think it's going to allow us to offer a more elevated and premium experience for our members, and allow them to reach even more success than we've been able to create for our members in the past 5.5 years of doing this. So for the people listening that are already in the program, you've already known this because we've shared this with you inside of our Fit Vegan app, but you have the ability to stay on the current model that we've had for 5.5 years, or you have the opportunity to upgrade to the new model. So that is always available for you. That is the exciting news that I wanted to share. I've been working on this for over 3 years in my head, and now we finally have the incredible team. We finally have the infrastructure to be able to provide that for our members. So for those of you that are interested in that, if you are in the program and you haven't seen the video that we've sent you yet, feel free to reach out to your coach. If you are interested in working with us, there's a link down below where you can book your free consultation call, and we'll explain everything as to how it works for your specific need and the transformation you're looking to accomplish. So now that this cool announcement is out of the way, we just came back from this digital detox. Ivy and I, that was our first one that we did together, because typically Ivy would be working during a digital detox for multiple reasons. One, she really liked it, and it's really hard to pull her away from doing the initial consultation calls with our new members. We do have another team member that has been doing those calls with us, but Ivy just really loved doing them and loved connecting with new people that would be coming into the program. So I had a hard time pulling her away from it, but I was like, hey, it's important for us to recharge and relax and spend time together, because at the end of the day, what's the point of having all of this if we don't have a good relationship, if we don't take that time to nurture our relationship and have a good marriage? Because frankly, I know a lot of people that are around me, and I'm starting to have better examples of that, but I know a lot of people around me that have built big companies that have serviced a lot of people and changed a lot of lives, but unfortunately, they either didn't take care of their health, or they didn't take care of their partner and or their family, and they have bad relationships with their partner and their family. And to me, that's something that I never wanted to compromise on, which is, one of the reasons why I do digital detox at the beginning of every month. Another one is for health reasons, for mental health reasons, to recharge, to fill my cup, so therefore I can pour more into other people's cup. but it was very important for me to be able to do it with Ivy. And now with the new, infrastructure, the rebranding and all the things that we're doing, I was able to pull Ivy and do a digital detox with me for 7 days, which we had an incredible blast. Like I mentioned, we're in Breckenridge, Colorado. We were able to drive up for a day to Aspen, which, by the way, beautiful town. I understand why people go there to ski, but oh my, is it ever expensive to be up there? A lot of great stores. We did some great shopping up there. And then, beautiful drive as well, because at least for changing color, it was absolutely stunning. And then we came back, and I think the day or 2 days after, we went to Vail, Colorado. Again, very beautiful town as well. Did some shopping there too, went out into nature, ate some good food. And then now, just relaxing here in nature and getting accustomed to the altitude. Also taking this opportunity to train at altitude, and very curious to see how that's going to translate into my performance going back into basketball when I go back to Los Angeles, just because I've never spent 2 weeks at that high of an altitude. We also do have plans to go to Boulder, Colorado, because again, those are all places that I've never been before. This is my first time in Colorado. I've only been to the airport here for a layover like a few times in the past few years, but beautiful place. I can't believe how much the weather changes rapidly. There's one day I'm wearing my long sleeve and then I have my coat on, and then a cloud passes in front of the sun and it just gets freezing. So I have to add my beanie and zip my coat all the way up. And then literally 30 seconds later, the cloud passes and the sun is beaming out and it's boiling. So I have to take out my beanie, take off my coat because I'm too hot. A lot of fluctuation in temperature being here. But one of the things I notice is, and I talk to this to Ivy often, and then when we did our workshop in Vancouver, I talked about this with the coaches too, is there's not a lot of restaurants or opportunities for people that are vegan and or eat plant-based to have some of those more premium, luxurious, nice experiences. I like to dress up nice and go to a nice restaurant and have a good time, and for it to be a little bit more classy than the most traditional kind of vegan restaurants, where it's kind of not say cafeteria style, but it's not, you're not going to wear it's a suit or a dress shirt to go and eat there. Ivy and I love eating at these types of spots, and we didn't for a really long time because there was no vegan food for a lot of them, or at least I thought that there weren't vegan food. But, going to Vail and Aspen and even back home in LA, we started going to some of those restaurants. We went to, what is it called? Nobu in Malibu. Just beautiful restaurant by the ocean. We drove by that place for years. Ivy had been before she was vegan. I was like, I'll never go because it's like a fish and sushi place. Well, we ended up booking a table there and had incredible vegan food, really good vegan food. Honestly, better vegan food than certain vegan restaurants that I had been at. And we were able to have some of that more premium experience. And so it's the same thing when we went to Aspen and to Vail. We were looking for some of those, higher end restaurants so we can have a good time, have that experience. And we were quite surprised with, some of the options that were available on the menu. There's even this restaurant. Let me see. I have it on my phone. I took a photo of it. Ivy and I ate there. That one is in Breckenridge, Colorado. If you guys are ever at that one, it is called Aurum, Aurum. Just fine dining, had incredible vegan food. Some of the times you order some cauliflower wings, for some appetizers. And when you go to fine dining, you get 3 or 4 cauliflower wings. They actually came up with a massive plate of cauliflower wing. And then it had some polenta waffles with some oyster mushrooms. It was like a chicken and waffle type of dish, but it was really, really good. So definitely a recommendation if you guys are coming up here. That was really good food. But all that to say that we've been trying to have some of those more premium experiences with vegan and plant-based food. And it is quite surprising how many of them are starting to add some to their menu and are very plant-based friendly. So just wanted to share that because I told Ivy a lot of the stuff we see online for vegan and plant-based, usually it's not that premium or luxurious. And some people like the finer things in life. And, Ivy and I happen to like a little bit of that too. I used to be ashamed of that, but I'm not ashamed of it anymore. I like nice experiences. It's fun to be treated well when you go to a hotel, to a restaurant, or certain activities. And I just didn't think there was a lot of that in the plant-based space. And so it's cool to know that more restaurants are being open to it. Now, one of the things that I've noticed for the week that we were here on the digital detox and going to some of those nicer places is that it is nearly impossible to get a decent amount of protein in a meal. It's very, 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 very hard. So what Ivy and I have had to do is obviously make some smoothies first thing in the morning, just to kind of load up on protein for the day. Cooking some tofu, making a tofu scramble in the evening time, or just, snacking on some tempeh or things like that, or some dried edamames, just to kind of increase the protein content throughout the day. Simply because when you're eating out at some of those restaurants, primarily going to be high carb and high fat, because they're trying to play around with, textures and flavor profiles. And it's hard to do with tofu for the most part, I think, is what I'm noticing at a lot of those restaurants. Don't have a lot of tofu or tempeh. Very rarely some of them will have seitan, surprisingly not as much of a popular dish on some of those restaurants. But yeah, all that to say is like, I feel like needs to be more of those restaurants. In LA, we have Crossroads, which is great, but I think some of them are shutting down. And so I think it's great to go and support some of those, local plant-based and vegan restaurant. But I think it's also cool to go to some other restaurants that are not plant-based, but that are making the effort to add plant-based options on their menu. Because to me, that's where you can get kind of different types of experiences. And then you can expose the waiter. You can also show to the restaurant that, like, hey, people are appreciative of the plant-based option that you have on the menu. And I think in fine dining as well, it's more and more important, because I think a lot of people are starting to transition to that. Because, and I guess just me kind of like talking out loud right now, but what I've noticed is, if you want to go to some of those more luxurious premium experiences and more fine dining, there is more of a status associated to animal products, like what type of Wagyu steak you're going to be ordering, what type of fish. There's more of a, not say a game, but there's more of a status associated to having some of those more expensive pieces of meat. And I think a lot of the people that have that budget to afford some of these foods, I think a lot of them are starting to be more health conscious, because maybe they're getting a little bit older, cholesterol is high, blood pressure is high, maybe they're carrying excess body fat, they don't feel their best, they're starting to get sick, and they kind of want to turn things around for them. And so I think it's important that some of those higher end restaurants are starting to add plant-based options, because people still get to have that, how can I say, like that game of going to somewhere that's really nice, but eating foods that's going to be healthier for them in the long run. I don't know if that makes sense, but I always thought that it was something that was missing in a market. It was like high-end fine dining for plant-based food, because there's such a game associated. When I say game, I mean there's like a status game to associate to, like I said, buying the most expensive piece of meats or drinking X bottle of wine or whatever. But I think a lot more of those people are transitioning to focusing on their health, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing you have. So my little rant on fine dining, just because Ivy and I have been trying more different restaurants to kind of see what they have available. Because a lot of times when people ask us, like, what kind of vegan food or restaurant should I go check out in this town or in this state or in this country, it's usually vegan comfort food. And not the best if you're trying to be healthy and lose weight and improve your body composition. But I would like to be able to recommend some of those, nicer, higher end restaurants, because I think a lot of people that listen to this show would appreciate those experiences as well. So that's one thing I wanted to kind of share with you guys, was the digital detox was good. Another realization I've realized was, I got my journal right here, and every day I just brainstorm and I write. And I'm trying to figure out, am I heading in the right direction for the impact that I want to have in the world, for the things that myself and the team are working on. And then for this one, I realized, like, we have way too many projects going on, right? Like in beginning of January, my book will be coming out. We're still refining the title for it. We're like 98% there. But, just finalizing the book, formatting everything for the recipes and the workouts that are going to be in there. Providing like the last notes and feedback on like what to tweak and what the cover photo is going to be, because this is my first book, so it's a lot of big learning curve and figuring all of this out. So writing the book, rebranding the company, launching the new structure, but all of this is for the betterment of being able to reach our goal of helping 10,000 people by 2033 and 1 million by 2050. So I just want to say, I appreciate everyone's support throughout the years, whether it's on, the newsletter, the podcast, the show, or in the coaching program, whether you've been in the coaching program or you've referred people to a coaching program. I'm eternally grateful for it because it's allowed us to transform the lives of people, and not only their lives, but the community around them. Because what I've realized is if we get one member to get healthier, their partner, their friends, their family members, whether, extended family or direct family, everyone will notice. Like, everyone's always paying attention, especially if you start to get healthier, especially if you start to get fitter, you start to lose weight, you start to have more vitality, you start to have more glow, more zest for life. People are like, what are you doing? They start to be, they're intrigued, they start to be more curious. And I think that's the most powerful way to impact someone than to tell someone what you've been doing your whole life is wrong. Here's the right way to do it. People are automatically going to be defensive. But if you can be a walking and shining example of what it looks like, by default, you'll have more eyeballs on you, more people will pay attention. And whether that is your goal or not to impact other people in a positive manner or not, like, some people don't care, some people care. Regardless if you care or not, you will impact people in a positive way if you get healthier, if you get better, if you lose weight, and if you become fitter. And the people that you love the most are the ones that will probably be the most critical at first, but are going to be the ones that are going to pay the most attention because they want the best for you. And ultimately, it'll start to leak into their life and start to have that positive impact towards them. So I want to say I appreciate you guys, because I did not know, I appreciate all the support throughout the years, but also did not know how the change of podcast name would be received. And it was received with a lot of love. I think everyone understood where I'm coming from of, just wanting to be able to reach more people, and the word vegan having its limitation in terms of the impact on that I want to have on people's health. Like, at the end of the day, people go vegan for different reasons. For me, the main reason was always to be for health. And so if the word vegan is preventing me from affecting people's health in a positive manner, then I would much rather use the word plant-based or whole food plant-based to be able to have that health impact, which by default will help, the environment, animals, and everything else. And so I'm happy that it was received well. So I just want to say that I appreciate you guys for that. And then, I think one last thing is, while you're traveling and you're on the road, because we have a lot of members now that tend to travel a bit more than the types of clients we used to have maybe 3-4 years ago. When you're traveling, go-tos, portable blender, or get an Airbnb that has a blender, bring some protein powder. First thing you do, and Ivy and I do this everywhere we go. You go to a grocery store, you buy some unsweet almond milk, you buy some frozen berries, you buy bananas, you can buy spinach if you want to. That way you can make a smoothie every single morning that will be packed with antioxidants, nutrients. It'll be high in protein. It'll give you some good carbohydrates to start the day. And you don't have to worry about getting as much protein in some of the meals that you're going to be eating when you eat out. If you are going to eat out, it'll just make it just starts your day off on a good foot and in the right direction. And if you are going to eat out and enjoy yourself, follow the same rule that I do. Just allocate some of your calories for the day to that meal. So let's just say you want to go eat somewhere and it's 600 calories or 700 calories, and your budget is 2,500 calories for the day. Then when you wake up in the morning, you have 1,800 calories to play with until you get to that dinner, or, until you get to that lunch or whatever, maybe whatever meal you're going to use to eat out. But it is possible to travel, enjoy some of the local food, some of the culture, and stay on track with your body recomposition goal. And that's why we preach to our members, you don't have to be anal about food, you just have to learn to be flexible with your food. Calories and protein are the only two things that are going to matter. Now, is your weight going to fluctuate a little bit more because you went somewhere and they had a little bit more salt in the food or whatever it may be? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you're not after a weight on a day-to-day basis. You're after a weight over a long period of time. And so if your weight fluctuates while you're traveling, but you're staying within your calories, you're staying with your protein, you're staying hydrated, you're getting your workouts in, then you're heading in the right direction, regardless of if you have some fluctuation in water retention. If you take a flight, there's going to be water retention. If you decide to have a glass of wine, there's going to be some water retention. If you had some food that had a little bit more salt, there's going to be some water retention. But at the end of the day, if you're sticking to your calories, your protein, you're doing your strength training, you're doing your steps in every day, and you're obviously making sure you're getting good sleep, you're going to be heading in the right direction. So don't beat yourself up. It is possible for you to make some progression in your body composition, for you to get healthier, for you to get fitter while you're traveling, while you're enjoying some of the finer or non-finer things of life, but having a good time. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not to learn how to get fit by locking yourself in a house and never being exposed to any social event, no any temptation, no travel. Anyone can learn to get fit in an environment where everything is controlled, aka being in your house and being in your routine. But as soon as you want to travel, explore the world, have a social life, connect with family members, connect with friends, build some of those deeper relationships, which if you look at a lot of the studies, those are going to be the things that are going to be the most important for longevity. Is obviously a lot of factors like nutrition, all those things, but they're good relationships that you have with friends and families and partner. Those are the things that are going to matter the most. So you can't cut those things out while you're learning to get fit. You have to be exposed to those things while you're learning to get fit so that you learn the right lessons. Because if you know how to be locked into your house and just meal prep all your food and exercise perfectly, and then I throw you on a trip with your partner for a week or two on a cruise ship, or you go travel somewhere to Europe, you'd be like, how do I navigate this? I've never been exposed to this. So the more repeated exposure you have to these uncontrolled variables of getting to the airport, you're hungry. What decision do you make at the airport? Landing from the airport, you're hungry. Okay, got to go grab the car rental, drive to the grocery store, grab some groceries, drive to your Airbnb, go to your hotel or grab an Uber, whatever it may be. Now you have your hotel or Airbnb. What kind of food should you have if you're in a house or if you're in a hotel? The only way to learn how to navigate that is for you to go through it, for you to make some mistakes and to learn from some of those mistakes. So that's why I encourage our members to travel, to eat out, because I would much rather you make some of those mistakes and learn and have someone to help you get back on track as fast as possible. Because realistically, that's probably how you're going to live the rest of your life. A lot of members we work with, they are a little bit older than when we first started the company, right? It was very much like 25 to kind of 40-year-old, but now we're very much like in the 50s to kind of all the way up to 80s range. And then they're retired, they're traveling, they're going on cruise ship, they're going to Europe on a cycling trip, they're going to Asia for 2 weeks, whatever it may be. Like it's a time in your life to enjoy all the hard work you've put into your life, but also you want to be able to enjoy those times and have more of those times, which will require to be healthier, make better decisions for your food, make sure you get your exercise in so you stay strong, vital, mobile, and have enough energy to be able to enjoy those later years of life and all those travel that you've worked your whole life to have. Because I can't remember if it was like a study or something, but people retire at a certain age and then most people get sick at a certain age. And there was maybe like a 3 to 5 year window statistically that people could enjoy their retirement. And then a lot of time they would get sick and they would not be able to have the strength or the health to do all of the things that they said that they were going to do when they were going to retire. So this is your time to start to get better, right? So anyways, hope that makes sense. Well, there's no structure for this podcast. I just kind of wanted to share from this digital detox, but also announce the new structure for our coaching program. Like I said, I think it's going to allow us to offer a more premium experience, be able to offer more accountability, more support, and to be able to provide even better transformation that we've been able to provide for all our members for the past 5.5 years. And so I appreciate you guys for listening to this podcast episode. Apologize if it was a little bit all over the place, but I hope that you got the message that you needed to hear from it. Honestly, I appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.